Hello, I'm Al Maslin, class of 1979, and I've had the honor of serving as your Alumni Council President the past 2 years. Today we're kicking off our virtual Alumni Week by celebrating this year's remarkable recipients of the Distinguished Alumni Awards. Like many of you, I wish that we were gathered on campus to celebrate their incredible work and dedication. But as we've seen over the past year, nothing can keep Dickinsonians from celebrating each other and our alma mater. These awards recognize some of the exceptional alumni of Dickinson College. Recipients must demonstrate exemplary service to the college, accomplishment in their professional and civic lives, and strength of character. This year, we've seen all of that and then some from our recipients, and I encourage you to view their full bios online. Now, on to our recipients. The Outstanding Young Alumni Award recognizes the professional and civic accomplishments of the college's young alumni. And this year we get to honor 2 individuals. Afif Kulaylat, class of 2007, is a pediatric surgeon at Penn State's Children's Hospital in nearby Hershey, Pennsylvania. His accolades are truly too many to mention, so I hope you'll read his full bio. But a few highlights include multiple teaching awards, including the Outstanding Resident Teacher Award from the Association for Surgical Education and the Resident Award for Exemplary Teaching by the American College of Surgeons. He was selected by the Pennsylvania Medical Society to be a recipient of their Top 40 Physicians Under 40 Award. He has dozens of published research manuscripts, 7 book chapters published or in review, was involved in 34 national and regional presentations, and was able to secure funding for 2 education-related research projects. He'd have no trouble qualifying as an expert witness in my courtroom. And he did it all, while he was also dedicating himself to community service as a soup kitchen volunteer and Habitat for Humanity volunteer. As one of his many nominators said, he is a fine example of all that a Dickinson education can do when it takes root in one's soul. Afif, for your significant achievements in medicine, as well as your dedication to your community, I am proud to present you with the 2021 Outstanding Young Alumni Award.
I wanted to express my gratitude to the Alumni Council and the Dickinson family for this award. It was very humbling to even be considered, as I know that young Dickinson alumni everywhere are accomplishing incredible things every day and making a difference in their communities. I am so grateful for my time at Dickinson. Those years were especially formative and memorable to me and helped lay the foundation for my career in academic and pediatric surgery. I came to Dickinson as an international student. My father is Lebanese and my mother from the Philippines. I grew up in a small compound of less than 1,300 people in Saudi Arabia. I went to 3 different high schools in 3 different countries. But I had always aspired to a U.S. education. It remains the gold standard in the international community for higher education. But as you're all very aware, U.S. educations are very expensive, and I am indebted to the generosity of Dickinson's scholarship programs and financial aid packages that made that education even accessible to me and my family in the first place. At Dickinson, I found a warm and welcoming community, a top-tier education, and lifelong friends and mentors. In short, I found a home. It was through the opportunities available to me at Dickinson that I realized my passion for leadership, education, mentorship, and service. I credit Dickinson with helping me to carve a path that melded these passions into one common purpose and helping me to overcome difficult odds to secure a spot in a U.S. medical school as an international student. The majority of students in medicine do not come from liberal arts backgrounds. Most are from large universities with heavy science and research programs. And when I think back to my experiences at Dickinson, there were so many unique dimensions to my education here that helped prepare me in ways that I never expected at the time. I had amazing teachers in traditional classes like micro and cell biology, physiology, and chemistry. I had the opportunity to perform basic science research in genetics and neurobiology. I wrote a lot in those little blue books. But my course load also included other dimensions of health like medical sociology and the biology of behavior. It even included a seemingly random array of things like swimming, plant taxonomy, and films of the Indian diaspora. Outside of the classroom, I was involved in ComServe, residential life, Cub Scouts, Student Senate. I spent a fair amount of time working at the quarry making coffee and sandwiches. What do all these have to do with operating on a 600-gram premature baby? Well, nothing. And everything. Writing in those little blue books taught me how to communicate difficult ideas concisely and effectively. Medical sociology taught me about the social, structural disparities and inequities that affect healthcare. The biology of behavior first introduced me to the intersection of biology, psychology, and social factors in the experience of illness. In swimming, I learned about discipline and focus and the importance of coaches in our lives. Plant taxonomy taught me about order and organization and how complicated processes can be broken down into sequential or structured steps. Films of the Indian diaspora taught me about perspective, appreciating different value systems, the importance of diversity, and also that I really like watching movies. ComServe taught me about being invested in my community and how small, committed groups of individuals can make big differences in the lives of others. In residential life, I learned about responsibility and accountability and the simultaneous burden and joy that carries. Cub Scouts helped me to appreciate the importance of role models, the infinite potential of children, and how working with children presents the opportunity to affect lifetimes. The Senate helped me to understand the role of leadership and advocacy in influencing change. The quarry made me appreciate the critical role we all play in making any system work. We each have a part and every part is important. At the end of the day, we are each gifted a small part of the world to influence, to nurture, to protect, to care for. I believe that one of the most noble things we can do is to pour our hearts and selves into our communities, to try and make them better, to always try to do the right thing, and to care for one another. There is no endeavor more humbling, more human, and more defining of a Dickinson education and our alumni. Thank you all again.
Shawn Werner is a member of the class of 2006 and has spent his entire career fighting for marriage equality and LGBTQ rights, recently pivoting to broader political work. He's worked as the Director of Campaign Services for the Gay and Lesbian Victory Fund, the Director of Political Operations for Freedom to Marry, and the National Political Director of the Gill Action Fund. Since 2018, he has been with the Democratic Legislative Campaign Committee, where he was recently promoted to Senior Regional Political Director. He led the efforts to win marriage equality in Maryland, New Jersey, Delaware, and Rhode Island, and led the Democrats' Say I Do campaign, which placed marriage equality in the 2012 party platform. Shawn, for your activism, advocacy, and your fight for equality, I am proud to present you with the 2021 Outstanding Young Alumni Award.
When I arrived at Dickinson, a closeted first-generation college kid from rural Pennsylvania, never did I imagine that this institution would give me the foundation on which I'd build a career to be able to play a small part in a much larger movement for LGBTQ equality. During my time at Dickinson, I learned that if I told my story, I could have an impact on others around me. Whether that was through the Fight to Give Life, a campaign to end the discriminatory lifetime ban on gay and bisexual men from donating blood, or whether it was leading a campaign in the state senate calling on the college to expand their leave policies to include adoption. It was through these tough conversations that I learned that my voice mattered. And certainly, while my campus activism was fun and it empowered me, it wasn't until I took a course in American Studies taught by Professor Lana Malmsheimer. It was entitled Gay in America. In this course, I learned about people that I'd never even heard of. Tammy Baldwin, Barney Frank, Bayard Rustin, Kathy Woolard. These people were doing this work for decades on decades, day in and day out. I was standing on the shoulders of giants. That also includes the shoulders of Professor Lana Malmsheimer. 15 years ago, yeah, I know, really being called young at this point is still a ton of fun. The class of 2006 heard a commencement speech by Judge John Jones. Never did I imagine that 8 years after walking down those steps at Old West, that our commencement speaker would find a constitutional right for all loving and committed same-sex couples to be afforded the freedom to marry in Pennsylvania. I thank you for that decision. Today, we celebrate you in a different way, and I look forward to your leadership as president of Dickinson College. I would also be remiss to recognize that while we've seen some tremendous progress, the attacks still continue to come. Our transgender brothers and sisters are under attack in state after state. I call on this entire community to stand with them the same way that you all stood with me. It was all the support from this entire community that allowed me to find the confidence to tell my story and then to help others tell theirs. I always say that my work is definitely not brain surgery, and it's certainly not pediatric surgery. When I was told that I was receiving this award alongside a pediatric surgeon, I was truly humbled. Congratulations, Afif. Keep up the good work. But I cannot thank the Alumni Council enough for this recognition of being outstanding young alumni. And I cannot thank the entire Dickinson community for providing a community that allows folks to find their voice, to create that voice, to nurture that voice, to empower that voice, which then only allows them to go on and empower more voices. So while I cannot thank you enough, I thank you for this recognition of me and the recognition of millions of Americans that stepped forward and told their stories, which has made us have a much more just nation. Thank you, Alumni Council, and I hope that everyone has a great evening.
The Professional Achievement Award is presented to a Dickinsonian who has achieved outstanding distinction in his or her life's work. This year, we are honored to celebrate two individuals whose life work have impacted so many people. Beth Masters McCormick, class of 1981, has led an exemplary career in national security and defense, reaching into the highest levels of government. A career member of the Senior Executive Service, Beth served as U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of State, Director of the Defense Technology Security Administration, and Acting Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Technology, Security, and National Disclosure Policy. She also directed policy for U.S. Air Force International Affairs and served in several executive positions with NASA, including Director of International Relations and Deputy Associate Administrator for Life and Microgravity Sciences. Beth is an advocate for women in leadership roles, and she's received several awards for her federal government service. Beth, in recognition of your incredible career and contributions, we are honored to present you with the Dickinson's Professional Achievement Award.
Hello, my name is Beth Masters McCormick. I am a 1981 graduate of Dickinson. If you can do the math, I graduated in 1981, and this is 2021, which means I graduated from Dickinson College 40 years ago. That's a long time, and this is in fact my reunion year. So what an amazing time for me to be the recipient of the Professional Achievement Award. Getting that award, first off, I was shocked, but then I'm honored by it. It gave me a wonderful opportunity to reflect upon the foundational education that I received at Dickinson College. I grew up in a small town, only 18 miles away, Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, for those who know it. And many of us didn't think about going to Dickinson. And it was my high school guidance counselor, Christine, who said to me one day, "Beth, would you mind doing me a favor? And would you go out and visit Dickinson and give an honest assessment of a student about what Dickinson would be like to visit?" I came home and told my parents that she'd asked me to do that. My father was thrilled because it was only 18 miles away. So we drove out and we visited on a beautiful fall afternoon. And of course, I was immediately impressed with Old West and that beautiful campus. Kids were reading books under falling trees with falling leaves. Mm-hmm. And I was going, okay, I think I'd like to know more. And then I learned about the amazing curriculum, the expertise of the faculty, and maybe most importantly, the small class size, because I came from a very small high school, 136 kids. So the idea that my freshman classes were only starting with 15 students, and by the time I got to my fourth year Russian, there were 4 of us taking Russian, but they still had the class. And in addition to only 4 of us studying Russian, I had the unique opportunity to have an independent study with Madame Bogi-Walensky, and she was just this amazing person. And we became not only faculty and student, but friends. And she stopped driving after a while, and so she would call me occasionally when we needed to go to the grocery. She needed to go to the grocery store, so she didn't like to drive anymore. And we'd go to the grocery store, and when we would come back, we always came into our house, we'd unload the groceries, and then we'd read some Russian poetry with her dog Dusha, which means sweetness in Russian, with her head on my knee. I don't know where you find that except in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, in a place like Dickinson. I did take a little time away from Dickinson. Fall semester of my junior year, I went down to the Washington semester program at the American University in the foreign policy semester, and that's where Washington, D.C. got in my blood. And so after graduating from Dickinson, I knew that Washington was the place for me. And I went down there later for my master's degree from George Washington University, and then I began a long career with the federal government, 36 years in total, 25 as an executive. And I moved around agency to agency, the Department of Defense, the Department of State, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. And when I look back at that, I thought to myself, how could I have been this successful in a federal government career? And it's because of the fact of the foundation that Dickinson gave me. Because what did Dickinson do for me? It taught me how to think critically. It taught me how to challenge issues and think about them differently, to bring in diverse perspectives, and to also be more inclusive with perspectives and including other people that would help me with my decision-making process. And I believe, if I reflect back in my government career, I learned those skills at Dickinson College, and I'm very appreciative of that. So I want to say, Dickinson, thank you so much, because I believe that I became a good citizen of the United States and a great representative of the United States because of you. Thank you very much.
Barbara Slusher, class of 1986, is professor of neurology, psychiatry, neuroscience, medicine, and oncology at Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, and the director of the Johns Hopkins Drug Discovery Program. At Hopkins, she leads the largest integrated drug discovery program on campus. In short, Barbara works to discover new therapeutics to improve the lives of countless people. She has published over 175 scientific articles and has 75 issued patents and applications. She co-founded a new biotechnology company in Baltimore, Cerecor. She also leads the first ever international consortium of over 130 academic drug discovery centers with over 1,500 members in an effort to coordinate and enhance university-led drug discovery efforts. Barbara, for your achievements in science and biotechnology and in celebration of the many lives changed by your work, we are proud to present you with the Professional Achievement Award.
Hi, my name is Barbara Slusher, and I'm a professor at the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. And I'm absolutely thrilled today to be receiving this Dickinson Distinguished Alumni Award for professional achievement in science and medicine and discovery of new therapeutics. It was really Dickinson's dedicated science faculty in physics and in chemistry and biology, that really sparked and then developed my interest in pursuing a career in the sciences. At this point, I can't imagine doing anything else. I absolutely love what I do. The idea that my drug discovery laboratory, if it works hard enough and smart enough, that we could develop new drugs to treat devastating human diseases is just so incredibly motivating. So for students who are trying to figure out what to major in, what to do, my advice is to not really pursue a career, but pursue a life's mission, something that you're really passionate about. And if you haven't discovered it yet, keep looking. Work should be less of a chore and more of a conduit to a fulfilling and purposeful life.
I have been fortunate to meet many alumni who give back to Dickinson in incredible and inspiring ways. But some alumni take the college wholly into their hearts and lives and dedicate themselves to its betterment. They are the living embodiment of the namesake of this award, Walter E. Beach, class of 1956. The Walter E. Beach Distinguished Alumni Award for Service recognizes those special individuals who have rendered conspicuous and meritorious service to Dickinson. This year, I am thrilled personally to present on behalf of the Alumni Council to Kellie Newton, class of 1981. To say that Kellie is dedicated to Dickinson would be an immense understatement. Whenever the college has called, she has answered. She served as the inaugural chair to the Washington, D.C. Regional Cabinet, leading to a great increase in engagement and philanthropy in one of our largest regions. She has served on the Board of Trustees for over 15 years. Kellie is well known by alumni throughout the D.C. area as a consistent presence at area programs where she's helped connect more students and alumni than could be counted. Kellie leads by example, and our alma mater is truly made better by her dedication to Dickinson and her fellow Dickinsonians. Kellie, thank you for your service. I am honored to present you with the 2021 Walter E. Beach Award for Distinguished Service.
Hello. I'm honored to be selected as the 2021 recipient of the Walter E. Beach Distinguished Alumni Award for Service. Thank you to all of the members of the Alumni Council for this award and for the important work you do on behalf of the college. A special thank you to Al Maslin, President of the Council, with whom I've had the pleasure of serving on the Board of Trustees the past couple of years. Also, thank you to my Chautauqua Lake friend, Linda Steckley, who serves as Vice President of the Council. Congratulations to this year's recipients of the other alumni awards, including my classmate Beth McCormick, class of 1981, who is receiving the Distinguished Alumni Award for Professional Achievement. Although I was lucky to have met Walter Beach a couple of times, I can't say that I knew him. But I've heard much about Walter from Woody Goldberg, past recipient of this award, and others. I can't say that I mention Dickinson College 3 times each day, but I'm proud of being a Dickinsonian, and I try to promote the college every chance I get. I was quite shocked when Al called me to tell me that the Alumni Council had selected me as this year's recipient. I don't believe I've earned it. The word service to me often suggests hard work. But for me, my engagement with the college since I graduated in 1981 has been nothing but an absolute pleasure and never felt like work. It's been educational, which isn't surprising coming from Dickinson. I had no idea before I started to volunteer for the college how difficult it is to be a college president and to operate a college, especially one as distinguished as ours. Learning and understanding the business of those operations in higher education in general has been a thrill. As all Dickinsonians do, I'm always eager to learn something new, and I've learned a lot. It's been very gratifying to get to know some of the Dickinson professors. I had the privilege of sitting on a committee in 2017 and 2018 with Marie Helwig Larson, Jen Blythe, Ken Qualls, Ben Edwards, and Sarah Niebler. I saw firsthand how each and every one of these professors gives their all to the college and how deeply they care about its students. No wonder Dickinson continues to be well known for its superior academic programs and faculty. It's been really rewarding to meet and work with so many talented and dedicated administrators such as Neil Weissman, who taught me everything I know about Russian history, Bronte Burley-Jones, Karen Ferniak, Ken Schultes, and many others. By meeting students while on campus, it's been incredibly satisfying to learn that Dickinson continues to enroll the best and brightest, curious, engaging, and talented students. And last but not least, volunteering my time to Dickinson has been extremely enjoyable. Actually, it's been a lot of fun. I leave the Board of Trustees knowing that the fate of Ginger B. Mann is in good hands with Ruth Ferguson. I came to Dickinson in an indirect way. In high school, I didn't have any idea where I wanted to go to college or where I would be accepted, and I didn't have any idea how the college process worked. Fortunately, I had a great guidance counselor who handed me the Dickinson catalog, which I still have. I knew nothing about the college and in fact had never heard of it. My family knew of Carlisle because my great-grandfather had attended the Carlisle Indian School. Dickinson ended up on my short list of 4. My first choice for college was another college in Pennsylvania, not too far from Carlisle. But when my father and I toured campus, met with the admissions counselor, and witnessed all the student activity on campus, including on Morgan Rocks in the dining hall, I knew that Dickinson was the college for me. I'm extremely fortunate and grateful that my application was accepted and I was granted the financial aid I needed to attend. Dickinson has given me many opportunities that I'm not convinced I would have had elsewhere. There are many examples, but the ones that stand out to me are the opportunity to drive into Harrisburg multiple times a week during my senior year for my internship with Dick Thornburgh, the governor of Pennsylvania. I found the advertisement for that position at the Career Center. The second thing that stands out is my study abroad semester in London and the ability to travel across Europe with many great friends. That trip and that semester led me to my lifelong love of travel and the notion that the best way to learn about yourself and the world is to see and experience cultures different from your own. But the most important thing I took away from Dickinson is lifelong close friends. That is the best gift that Dickinson gave me. In fact, the best thing, or perhaps the only good thing, about the pandemic are my weekly Zoom calls I have with 4 close friends who I met while pledging Delta Nu 44 years ago. It is for those reasons that I give my time and resources to Dickinson. I have a need to give back all that was given to me, and I want to do what I can, even in a small way, to ensure that Dickinson remains one of the best, if the not best, liberal arts colleges in the U.S., and one that offers challenges in contemporary programming, hires and retains the best faculty and staff, and enrolls the best and brightest students from all over the world, including many first-generation students and those that require financial aid in order to attend. I'd like to encourage all of you to give back to Dickinson, in either with your time or with a financial donation, but both is okay. No matter what year you graduated, where you live, what you do professionally, or whether you've been disconnected from the college in recent years, I encourage you to find a way to participate in the current activities of Dickinson. You won't regret it. To close, I'd like to recognize a few other additional people that without them, I would not have had the opportunity to serve the college, and without them, it would not have been the wonderful experience it has been. I wish I had the time to thank everyone who has made my experience so wonderful. First, I'd like to thank John Curley and Bill Durden for the invitation they extended me to join the board many years ago. I'd like to wish President Ensign well in her journey back to Africa, and thank John Jones for not only his extremely diligent work and love of the college while serving as chairman of the board, but for also moving into the president's position. I know that the college will thrive under John's leadership. Finally, I'd like to thank the trustees that I've had the pleasure to get to know during my 16 years on the board. I've learned much from all of them and cherished the friendships I've made. A special thank you to Doug Pauls, last year's recipient of this award, for his past and future leadership. And because this is the 40th year reunion, should be the reunion of the class of 1981, I can't help but also recognize 3 other current trustees from that great class: Mark Burgess, Rick Shangraw, and Susan Miller. I know each of them will make lasting, important contributions to the college we all love. I look forward to seeing my classmates and other Dickinsonians at next year's reunion weekend. Thank you again for this award.
On behalf of the Alumni Council and my fellow Dickinsonians, I want to congratulate this year's award recipients. You have made our alma mater immensely proud. Thank you for your service.